Now, we're going to talk about Farrah Abraham from Teen Mom. This story is just so sad to me. And I chose this photo to represent Farrah and her parents specifically because when I watched WeTV's Family Boot Camp, and by the way, let me know, you guys, if you watched WeTV's Family Boot Camp, because that show was so revealing about the disturbing dynamics in the Abraham household. Okay, you guys? And in the show, you would see that there's a lot of creepiness in the relationship between Deborah and Michael, weirdness between Deborah and Farrah, and then kind of creepiness and weirdness between Michael and Farrah as well. Like there's some very, very obvious, clear trauma in that family. And watching it be unpacked was really, really hard. And there was also a moment where one of the psychologist experts from the show, she had Farrah speak to her one-on-one and had Farrah kind of talk about all of the traumas in her life. And I think some of this trauma involved her parents, right? Because that was the theme of the season of the show, Family Boot Camp. And the Dr. Jen, who is a psychologist, she said that the stuff that Farrah had gone through was some of the most horrific stuff that she had ever heard of. And so I'm sorry to even say this, but when this story is coming out and Farrah is claiming that her parents helped broker the deal for her X tape when she was only a teenager, I feel like there was some kind of actual abuse in that family between perhaps Farrah, the father, and Farrah, and perhaps the mom knew about it as well, right? I get that vibe, and it just makes me so uncomfortable, right? Like, and then there was also some information that came out in the past about some of her father's kinks. So Farrah's father, he used to be dating this girl, and then they broke up, and she started leaking some of the text messages that they had exchanged online, or some of the web chats that they had online. And in these messages, Farrah's father, who allegedly helped broker her X tape, was talking about being into daddy-daughter kinks. And when I heard that, this was years ago that this information came out, my stomach dropped and it turned and it twisted, and I felt disgusted because it felt like a confirmation of the weird vibes that we always had. The anger, the visceral anger that Farrah has towards her father and towards her mother. To me, I feel like this would make a lot of sense, right? So Farrah revealed the information, and these are just claims. None of it has been confirmed, although I do have a photo that all but confirms it in my mind anyway. She was on the Holly Randall Unfiltered podcast when she said that she handled the tape as best as she could. I felt like I handled it with grace compared to what I really know that I went through. I think some other people were like, yeah, Farrah, make the best out of it. And that's kind of really where my parents stood. So I had my dad come with me and my daughter, and I'm just like, I'm a young teen mom. This is how I handle it. It's not like I have Kris Jenner and the Kardashians forging some celebrity X tape deal. And the website that released the tape was called Vivid Entertainment. And in their fun fact section, they kind of claimed that she earned about 1.5 million. That's a guess. That's an estimate, you guys. But that's a lot of money to be making from this. And again, I find it very, very creepy that her parents would have been involved in the brokering of this tape. So now when you talk about her father being there to help negotiate it, here you go. So we knew that the dad was there at the round table, right? We knew that her daughter was there at the round table. How many of y'all remember this? This is a screenshot I took from TMZ, but there's a video there. You guys can go ahead and type the title of this story if you want to go ahead and watch the video. But there's a video of her, him, and her little girl walking into an adult industry office. Imagine bringing your daughter to a corn office. Good morning, Trin. Nice to see you here. Welcome to your first live. Imagine bringing her, and look how young she is. She is being brought into this. They obviously called the paparazzi as well, because the paparazzi is not just casually hanging around corn offices, right? So this was the desperation that was there to be famous and to make a name for herself. And it was so big. And I don't think that she was the only driving force there. I really, truly think that both of her parents thought that she was going to be the next Kardashian or Hilton or whatever. And so they did everything that they could to try and propel this in that direction. And I'm scared for Farrah, because obviously whatever she's gone through in life has fried her brain, the way the woman speaks, she cannot even put together coherent sentences. She's got a lot of rage built into her, and it's just always, always bubbling under the surface as well. And I feel like that's a result of some childhood stuff that needs a lot more work to be unpacked, and I feel for her, right? Because nobody asks for that sort of thing. These are not mistakes that she's made in her own life or this, that, or the other. This is childhood where you're supposed to be protected by your parents. She was allegedly compromised by these people, and I find it so sick. I'm going to be going back and rewatching this season of Family Boot Camp just because now I am on high alert now that she's really saying all this stuff about the family and the parents' involvement in her quote unquote celebrity X tape. Farrah, I really do feel bad for her, you guys. I do. I do. She's got a lot of issues and everything like that in life, but it feels like she never truly had a chance given who her parents are at the end of the day. And that feels extremely unfair.